Okay, so in order to sew a button on, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm using a contrasting color of thread and a different color for the button so that you can hopefully see the steps as I go through them. You start out with a piece of thread that is about arm's length, about 24 inches, 18 to 24 inches long. And you run it through the needle so that the tails of the thread are the same, so that they're together. And we don't put a knot on the end of this because for this instruction sheet it shows this really cool way to do this. You just take a stitch on the front of the fabric and then take your thumb and hold that little tail there and take another stitch in the very same spot. You want the back to look as neat as the front. That's just a piece of fuzz. You can see that it looks just as neat as the front. And then you're able to take this 4-hole button and place it on top. Now, of course, if you were doing this on a shirt, you'd want to make sure that you had the placement exactly where it should be. And then I'm going to take the needle and run it through. And today I think I'm going to do X's. So I'll come back through from the back. And I want to put enough thread in here to make it really secure. And that's another reason that we use double thread. Most of the time when you're hand sewing, you use single thread. Every once in a while, look on the back, and it should not have any big loops. Keep doing more stitching. And keep going until you feel like those 2 holes are really full. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to go ahead and continue with the other 2 holes. And this might happen to you too. It's kind of hard to find the hole. And then you just continue. Once you've filled the holes and feel like that button is on there really secure, and you don't want to make this mistake, you don't want to come around from the top around the back, because then you'd end up with a loop. A lot of times that's a mistake that people make, is just go from the top and then come up from the bottom. And then there's a kind of a cool way to also do your other knot at the end. Let's say that that's on secure. So I'm going to come up through the fabric from the back, and I'm going to wrap it around about 3 times just to make that smooth. And this is called the shank of the button. Gives it a little bit of space between the fabric and the button. I just wrapped it around 3 times. And now I'm going to take a stitch just at the base where the holes of the button exist. And I'm going to bring this through, leaving a loop. And I'm going to go through that loop 3 times the same direction with the needle. Now this gets the thread kind of twisted, and that's what we want to have happen, because then I'll pull that up to the base and we've got a knot. If you're not quite sure if that's strong enough knot, you could do it again. Take a stitch at the base. Again, you're checking the back to make sure it's neat back there. Pull the thread through, but not completely. Go through the loop 3 times the same direction. Pull it up tight, and there you have it. Now all I've got to do is take a good sharp scissors and cut those tails off. And you don't see a knot on the front or the back, just in between where it can safely be finished off. And there's your button. Secure, neat on the back so a ring doesn't rip that thread and cause that button to fall off again.